Tony and I welcome you today for this study of the Psalms, and we're glad you've joined us. We're in Psalm 8, and this is the first hymn of praise in all the Psalms. It follows 5 Psalms where the speaker appeals to God for help. It follows the last verse of Psalm 7 and gives us confidence in the God to whom we pray. The last verse of Psalm 7, verse 17 says, I will give to the Lord the thanks due to his righteousness, and sing praise to the name of the Lord the Most High. One thing we can gain by slowly praying through the Bible is the ability to notice words. Psalm 7 ends in praise to the name of the Lord.
Psalm 8 begins by praising the majestic name of God. O Lord, our sovereign, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory above the heavens. Psalm 8:1. A name is more than a label to describe someone. It represents the person's character. God's name is displayed by his creative words and his works.
The Bible is a masterpiece of unity. In this instance, Psalm 8 is a song of praise that corresponds to the story of creation in the first chapter of Genesis. Who is the one to whom we pray? He is the one who spoke, and the universe came into being. We can be filled with confidence when we pray to God in the face of trials and difficulties. Jesus knew the reality of who we are. He said, we are poor in spirit, in need of comfort, and vulnerable. That's from the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, verse 2 and through 5.
Psalm 8 pictures our weaknesses as that of an infant, but tells us that God will use our prayers to form a bulwark or fortress of protection. Out of the mouth of babes and infants, you have founded a bulwark because of your foes, to silence the enemy and the avenger. Psalm 8:2. God's name or character is demonstrated by his care for his children, who call out to him for help. Jesus told a parable to encourage people to keep on praying. He described a widow who kept coming to a judge for justice and finally prevailed. He interpreted the parable like this: And will not God grant justice to his chosen ones who cry to him day and night? Will he delay long in helping them? I tell you, he will quickly grant justice to them. Luke 18:7 and 8.
Psalm 8 reveals the role that God assigns to people like you and me. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon, the stars that you've established, what are human beings that you're mindful of them? Mortals that you care for them? Yet you've made them a little lower than God, and you've crowned them with glory and honor. You've given them dominion over the works of your hands, and have put all things under their feet, all sheep and oxen, and all the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, whatever passes along the paths of the sea. Psalm 8, verses 3 through 8. Do you remember the last time when you gazed into the night sky? Marvel at the fact that God created the entire universe, but then realize that human beings have a status that's a little lower than God. So who are we? We are officials in the administration of God's kingdom. We are under God's dominion, but are given a place in his rule. The sheep, oxen, beasts, birds, and more are simply a roll call of the responsibility God's given us. Ruling involves responsibility. Glory belongs to the ruler, but ruling is for the benefit of the rule.
The praise of God is like a frame of a beautiful picture. Just as the psalm began in praise, it ends in worship of our majestic God. O Lord, our sovereign, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Psalm 8:9. We find ourselves within the frame. We are weak, vulnerable, and needy in comparison with the universe and before the problems we face. Yet our prayers are powerful. They connect with our mighty God, who uses them to defend us and to lead us in our service.
As I've been using the Psalms in my daily prayer time, I've been challenged by my lack of faith. And I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'm telling the truth. For example, in Psalm 3:2, we read, Many are saying to me, there is no help for you in God. there are some people and issues that seem beyond help. I have to challenge myself to believe that my prayers will make a difference in their lives. Psalm 8 reminds me of two things. First, I am one of God's representatives on earth. So are you. Even though I may be weak in faith, God can and will use my weakness to bring about protection and benefit to the world. Second, this psalm reminds me that I am speaking to the Lord of all creation. I may be small, but so are my issues when they're compared to all that God has created. As I bring them to God, He is perfectly able to and super and abundant to do beyond all that I ask or I think of Him. Here's a final thought. Let's remember that human ruling is only appropriate when we're connected to God through worship. Tony and I would love you to email me at bsprad, SPRAD 49 at gmail.com, or private message me on Facebook. We would like to pray for you. And then Maywood Baptist has a prayer team that would like to also get your prayer request and pray. Thank you for being a part of this today. We pray that God blesses you. We pray that God makes your prayers powerful. Thank you. Have a good day again. We'll see you tomorrow.